So, good morning from Flanders. Not quite as bright as it was yesterday. We are at Tyne Cemetery, and what I'm going to do, we're going to have a look at the missing of the First World War. We've got the panels of the Tyne Memorial just ahead of us, which commemorate 35,000 British and Commonwealth soldiers who died from August 1917 until the end of the war in Flanders and have no known grave. Many of them will be buried in here because there are many unknown soldiers in this cemetery. It's looking back towards the Cross of Sacrifice. See the rows of graves, and on the panels here are the names of the missing in regimental order. So each regiment has its own set of panels. As I'm originally a Sussex lad, I think we'll have a look at the Royal Sussex names. You can see Royal Sussex Regiment, and we've got the missing on here, men who were killed. Where am I? I'm at Tyne Cemetery near Passchendaele in Flanders. It's First World War battlefield. This is the largest British and Commonwealth cemetery in the world. Just have a quick scan. You can see the end of the memorial, the graves towards the Cross of Sacrifice. We're only at the top end of the cemetery here. 11,500 graves, the largest British and Commonwealth cemetery anywhere in the world, with the missing. I thought we'd have a look at the missing. You can see long lists of names. Do you know where he died in Flanders? Maybe he's buried or commemorated here, or perhaps on the Menin Gate, which is close by. So we've got quite a lot of names on here, and many of these lads I've researched over the years. Lieutenant Colonel H.T.K. Robinson DSO was an officer who served with the 13th Royal Sussex Regiment. He was killed on the Bluff in April 1918. His command post was overrun by the Germans. He stood there with the battalion cooks trying to fight to the last man, was killed, fell into the old Commune Canal and was never seen again. And his body obviously was never found, and he's commemorated here. But the names on here from the Sussex Regiment, and if you go to the main panel, they are by rank. You can see Lance Corporal on there, and we can see the names. There are quite likely some lanes on there. The memorial is in regiment order and then names. So to check that, you need to go on the Commonwealth War Graves Commission website, which is cwgc.org, and you'd be able to see whether there were any men with your family name in this cemetery. But it is a vast city of the dead. The missing from the battles of Passchendaele and the final battles in Flanders on the walls, 35,000 of them, and the cemetery, 11,500 graves. Over 60% of the burials in here are unknowns. It was one of the great problems at the end of the First World War in finding the identity of soldiers who were uncovered in the post-war battlefield clearances. Soldiers wore dog tags. We had a look at that on Periscope the other day with the Gallipoli objects. If you didn't see that, it's on YouTube in the World War I Revisited YouTube channel. But in the 20s, when many of these men were recovered, the chances of finding their identity had long since slipped away, and sadly many of them remain unknown to this day. It's over 60% of the burials in here are soldiers whose identity is not known. Sometimes they know a regiment or a nationality, such as Australian and Canadian, New Zealander, but in most cases the chances of ever really identifying who they were has long since slipped away, but honoured nevertheless by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission in sites like this. So it's another brief little Periscope. Hope you've enjoyed that one, found that of interest, and as it's getting busy here in the cemetery, I shall be saying cheerio for now. So we'll have a final move round across the cemetery so you can see it, and I'll be signing off from Flanders. Cheerio.